Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Money League. Joining me as usual, Mills and Dr. Grayval. Super exciting updates, and we call it the Money League for a reason. Apparently, a Qatar sports investment wants to invest billions of dollars and buy Manchester United. I'm not happy about it. I'm hoping at least United can be like oil free. What's happening, Mills? What's happening? Are you guys like going from Saudi Arabia to like buy Man United out here? What are you guys doing?
They were in talks with some Qatari investments who do have connections to oil. They want to invest somewhere between 4.1 to 4.5 billion euros to buy
Mm-hmm.
the team and also put in some more working capital, upwards of about 2.2 million. So all in, they're about 6.6 to 7 billion in to try to
Yeah.
not only
Well,
buy Manchester United,
and
but also
just with that news coming in, Man United stock market shares went up 16.5% today.
oh my
Hilarious.
god.
Dr. Gewal, your thoughts on this oil supremacy everywhere, even in sports? Come on, I don't like it. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we might not like it, but you need a sugar daddy to compete. Oddly enough, the oil-owned teams have not won the Champions League, obviously, as we've seen.
Yep.
But they dominate domestically. They're good businesses. They have
There you go.
stars. They get fans all over the world who don't have a team they're affiliated to. So I mean, I think it's the way things are headed. Just try to enjoy it. They'll invest in the
Yeah.
team. They'll be big stars coming in. I mean, there was always stars coming to Man United, but now you'll have even more. Plus, I mean, there was lots of reports that maybe the facilities weren't great and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yep.
they'll invest in some of that and
Yeah, I
things to
get
just
it.
keep players happy. You gotta
I
pamper these guys, right?
Yeah, I get it, but I think like it's Qatar coming in at so the QSI Qatar Sports Investment, they own PSG, and they want to buy Man United for I don't know billions of dollars, and of course the share price went up, and the closest thing to that was Red Bull having the German club and the Austrian club, and they kind of got approved. So QSI is trying to go that route to kind of like if they end up buying Man United. But I did read a report they might even be the majority share owner for Liverpool. So I don't know. Looks like Qatar, Saudi, and pretty much like every Middle East oil countries are going to take over soccer. I'm not happy about it. At least I'm hoping the quality of soccer is increasing and not just EPL. We talked about how EPL is pretty much dominating every market here. Okay, let's get into some injuries, Dr. Keval. Mills, do you want to highlight some top injuries and Hugo Lloris. Dr. Keval, what's up with Hugo Lloris? He's out for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like he's got a grade 2 MCL injury. The MCL is the ligament on the inside of your knee, right? So if you put your hand on the inside, it kind of runs from your thigh bone to your shin bone, gives it a lot of stability. It's very common to get injured, unfortunately, because our knees do naturally cave in. Obviously, really unfortunate that he's going to be out for 6 weeks. A rare injury for goaltenders. However, still he would need full mobility before he could play. So it would be a pretty similar return to play protocol as a defender or midfielder, etc. So unfortunately, you can't rush him back just because of his position.
Okay, Mills. Any other injuries we need to keep track on? And let's ask the doc for his expert review out here.
We actually got some more information about Christian Eriksen for Man United. We know that he suffered it's actually a grade 2 high ankle sprain, and he is going to be out. They finally released his return. He is due to return back he's out until mid-May, which is really not good. And also, Man United is also have a lot of injuries. Anthony, he has a leg knock. That's why he didn't play today versus Leeds. And also Anthony Martial, he has another his 5th injury this year. He has a hamstring strain.
Wow.
And Scott McTominay has an undisclosed muscle injury that's going to keep him out a
while. So Dr. Greva, let's talk about Anthony. Like 5th injury this season. Mills, is it all in the same leg or is it all over the body?
This hamstring is in the same leg. It's the same left leg that's been bugging him. That Anthony Martial the entire year. Yeah.
So Dr. Keval, so like, what are we looking out here? Is it like I don't know. He didn't play in the World Cup either. So what's up with him?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes players fall into the injury re-injury cycle. So, I mean, multitude of factors. Is the player coming back too early? Inappropriate rehab? Is there potentially misjudging of the severity of the injury to begin with? And some of this is also on the player, right? Like they've got to
Mhm.
tell you, okay, how am I feeling? Right? Like how sore am I afterwards? Do I feel like I can do it my all? And you know, if maybe there's potentially a little bit of dishonesty because he wants to come back and play and
Mhm.
feels okay, despite the fact that maybe he's like, whatever, I'm 85%, I'll be fine. And then the last thing is obviously just a bit of bad luck, right?
Mhm.
So you tie those things in together and you can fall into one of these situations. I mean, the best thing at this point is to sort of have a prolonged absence, take a little bit more time off, you know, be like, okay, yeah, I feel good to play. Okay, sweet. We're going to give you another week. You still feel good to play? You know what? Let's give you another week. You feel
Okay.
good to play? Okay, you know what? We're only going to give you 30 minutes,
Yeah.
right? And something like that when you sort of fall into this injury, re-injury cycle, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I think
Because
go ahead, man.
actually the second hamstring injury that he got, this is actually a re-injury of the second one that he
Oh.
got, because like you said, it was actually misdiagnosed. They said it was a grade 1. It was actually a grade 2. It was lingering. So he partially tore one of the muscles that make up the hamstring.
Well, that's not good. Well, let's hope he comes back stronger. I don't know. He's a good player, good talent. Man United dropped points against Leeds again today. What the hell? We win one good game. We end up dropping points again. But looks like all the top teams drop points. Chelsea and Fulham was a draw. That was, oh my God, that was so depressing. Chelsea spent so much money. And I don't know if you guys watched the game. Probably like one of the most boring games I've seen. Oh my God, 0-0 draw. I don't know. Dr. Graywall, again, we talked about it last week. The amount of money they spent on this team.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just make an all-star team, right? Like all-star teams look great. You need players to fill roles. And so I don't know if they necessarily have that. Although, you know, one game's a small sample size, first
Yeah.
game together. So I wouldn't fault them too much.
Yeah.
And then just a small thing on Man United. I think they were just really unlucky to play against a new manager. Like there is no team better than any team with a new manager. It could be anyone. All right. Like it could be MK Dons. Final new manager, they're going to look like Manchester City. They're not going to look like MK Dons.
Well, and plus, Rafael Varane scored an own goal in the 48th minute. Well, we play Leeds against this Sunday, so let's see. Maybe it's a revenge game. I'm hoping like after this week, all the what do you say, like the compact schedule is going to like free off. So hopefully that helps out teams.
Well, but then for some teams, obviously there'll be Champions League, right? European competitions coming next week.
Yeah, that's true. Arsenal lost to Everton. That was like a big surprise. No one expected that. Like Everton, like literally like battling relegation, beating Arsenal. And I don't know. Mills, did you watch the game?
I did. They scored like they got the goal in like around the 15th minute or so, and they said we got that one goal, and we are going to hold on for dear life. Everton switched into like this weird low block. It's like it was kind of reminiscent of the mid block that that Morocco played that made them so effective. They went into a mid block and they just were like, look, we're going to park the bus and like we're not going to let anybody, and they couldn't get through. So hey, they won.
Well, they parked the trailer against Arsenal. So Dr. Kewal, so Liverpool, another upset this past weekend. Like, what's happening out there?
That team's in shambles. I don't know what it is. They've just completely fallen apart. It's sort of time of a reset.
Virgil van Dijk coming in a couple of weeks would help out.
Not really. I actually this is one of these ones where you just got to let the season ride out.
Yeah.
Now the nice thing about like soccer versus other sports is that they get to step into a different competition, right? So there's almost a different mindset where they look at the Champions League as like, okay, we could salvage our season. Except they unfortunately drew Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Right in the Champions League. So even if they put in a good performance, they could easily be out and then have nothing to play for like 4 months. Well, that's a bit aggressive, whatever. 3 months. So I mean, it's time to start over to an extent. And like, as great as Klopp has been, right? You know, they finally won their first EPL. Champions League, etc., and Champions League finals appearances. You know, it might be one of those situations where he wears out his welcome, right? He kind of did that in Dortmund.
Exactly, I was going to say that.
And so let's say he wears out his welcome here, which is no fault of his own. Like that's just who he is. He's gonna be the type of guy who goes somewhere, he's gonna get immediate success too, right? Like
100%.
he's gonna do the same thing. Maybe it might take a year or two, but he's arguably the most successful manager of this era. I know people are pointing at Pep, but he's also had endless money to spend, right? Whereas
100%. And
a
yeah,
little bit of
Pep,
restriction.
Pep was in Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and now Man City. Klopp came from Dortmund, Liverpool. He built it from scratch. He signed like Mohamed Salah for like what 20 million or something like that. So he was really good. But one thing which is really surprising for me about Klopp was the entire stadium, like literally singing that you're going to get sacked tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I know.
And I was being like, I don't know, like if Alex Ferguson had losing seasons at United, but we never did that. We never did that to Ferguson. I don't know. Like Klopp has been like one of the most successful managers for Liverpool in the last 25 years. I'm kind of surprised.
I'm a bit flabbergasted as well. It doesn't make sense to do that. Soccer is a completely different animal. But yeah, I think they had some big hopes because they pretty much brought their main guys back, and they had some nice pieces coming in as well. Mm-hmm. And obviously they had some injury issues, Diego Jota, etc. But you know, it's a bit aggressive to just chant your old manager is going to be out.
Yeah. Well, so since you brought up Pep, looks like Miltzy's Man City is in big trouble. You guys are not the big dogs anymore. Looks like you literally bought all the championship. So there was an investigation done starting 2010 till 2019. They found like over like 100 infractions about the financial fair play, and Man City is going to get the hammer one way or the other. And I think it's going to be a big one. I think last two to 3 years, Man City probably like cooked the books properly, but the leading up to that has been a big issue. Mills, looks like your city is going to either get relegated or at least drop 15 points, if not this season, next season.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. It's been an ongoing investigation, as you said, as to impropriety and misappropriation of some of the team funding. It's similar to Juventus, but not a little bit more or a little bit less widespread. But yeah, we're going to potentially. I don't think relegation will come, but yeah, it's like that's not opposed to like the death penalty in college football, but we are going to definitely have some very heavy sanctions against us, and we probably won't be able to register players for a couple of transfer windows.
But apparently the arbitration can take up to 4 years, so it might not even happen this year. And looks like Pep is not going to stay with the city either for too long. He might go back to Barcelona or somewhere. I don't know.
That'll be interesting to see him in Barcelona.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like money's still so important. I just can't see the EPL sending down Man City. I think they'll put some sanctions. They'll do a point deduction. I don't know if they're big on vacating titles like we are on this side of the ocean. I've never heard of that. Because I know people from like Man U and Liverpool were like, sweet, like here's all our extra titles now, right? Like, I saw a lot of jokes of managers being like, oh, sweet, like I got an extra couple titles now.
Yeah. But, I think it's more than the titles. I think it's more, they might have like a transfer ban. I know Barcelona had like 2 summers they couldn't do any transfers. But I think that kind of like hurt Barcelona in the long run. So I'm sure they're going to plan something. So Man City has to get hurt somehow, some way or form.
Yeah. Or they'll just line their pockets. Or they'll just find them.
There you go. There you go.
But mainly right now, it's looking like, as you said, a fine, a point deduction, and at least a two transfer window like this summer and the next one, January. We won't be able to make any moves.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how long Milt says we after Man City gets relegated. So that might go off like that.
The other side, you might jump to Bradford there.
Yeah, because of the Qatari money coming out here. Okay, let's look into some matchups this week. I feel like Liverpool Everton is going to be a really good like a derby matchup out there.
Merseyside derby.
Yeah, Merseyside derby. That's going to be a good game. Greywall, who do you like in that game?
I like Everton.
Oh wow! You're gonna run back to back. Okay.
I don't know. I think Liverpool's focus shifts to the Champions League. It's a Monday game, if I remember correctly. So I do think. Whereas Everton is like motivated, maybe trying to think they're turning a corner. So yeah, I think Everton wins.
Yep. Man City plays Aston Villa. Looks like Man City is gonna. Oh my God, it might be like a 10-0 game, Mills.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Said exactly, and then finally we can get some Erling Haaland some service finally, and he can stop and he can stop whining and say give me the ball, so we get him the ball. Probably 3-0 or 3-1.
Haaland reminds me of like Antonio Brown, like the wide receivers, like complaining in the like it just looks like uber talented, no question about it. I think a really good matchup this week is going to be West Ham versus Chelsea. I think that's going to be a good matchup. Chelsea's going to win that game. I think they kind of hit rock bottom last week, so I think it'll be a good game about it. Anything else you guys looking forward to? I think those are the three matchups kind of stood out to me. I know Arsenal play Brentford. Looks like Arsenal's going to win. After losing to Everton, I don't see them losing back to Brentford, do they?
I like Brentford. I like what they're doing.
I liked it. Yeah,
they're like Brighton and Brentford, both of them. The Bros are they manage money well. They got players who aren't big names who perform well. They kind of strike me as an intelligent club that's got the right direction. So hard game. But I told you guys before, like I think Arsenal's already ran away with the league. I've been so impressed by them this year. They've won 16 of their 20 games. I think
100%. Yeah. And like
Ivan Toney is one of the most underrated strikers in this league for Brentford.
100. Okay. But again, the problem with Brentford is like Leicester City, right? They had like one magical year. It's kind of like the sustained success is the problem for Brentford and Brighton, clubs like that. All their best
Leicester
players
maintained it for a bit, like where they were, around, right? Top half of the table.
Yeah, but they couldn't like build and become like a great club. Like they lost Mahrez, like kind of like right? Like, yeah, agreed, 100%. And now like Newcastle is out here just spraying in money in every direction. So yeah, I think it's going to be money league for a reason. Let's go. I think it's going to be a great weekend of football, and let's get back into it next week. Hopefully Klopp can get some positive chance at Merseyside. Let's see about that.